I could commit to come pressure wash a house, but if my pressure washer doesn't work, I can't do it.
Now that's where part one left off. Now let's get back into this meeting. Because after all this debating, now they get to the voting.
Anybody have any more questions for Mr. Jackson?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Now I entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve.
A second. Any discussion? No? Any discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I do understand, it's been talked about our financial situation. Our financial situation, as I understand it, largely revolves around general fund expenditures. SPLOST revenues come in roughly $500,000 a month this county receives. The idea that we're in this financial issue or struggle, and where we have a SPLOST account that's accumulating $500,000 a month, I mean, that's not a reserve. That's not a reserve in terms of what maybe the public understands it as, because it's not as if we can use that money to make payroll or to do other things of this nature. And Mr. Chairman, we've taken steps to make sure that this money's separated now. One of the reasons why we had to increase the TAN note, I believe, is because we have fulfilled an obligation to the public that maybe wasn't fulfilled before, and that we are making sure that these funds are separate now.
All right, hold on right quick. Let's stop right there. He just said the county's financial problems are in the general fund. He said SPLOST and T-SPLOST should be thought about separately. He talked about increasing the TAN note. And for those who don't know, a TAN note is essentially a short-term loan that government used to help cover cash flow until more revenue comes in, like property taxes, okay? Then he says they're making sure these funds are separate now. He says they're fulfilling an obligation to the public that maybe wasn't fulfilled before. So let me ask a few questions. If those funds are being kept separate now, who was responsible for making sure they were kept in separate before? Whose job was that? Were those responsibilities already assigned, or did somebody receive new responsibilities after the forensic audit? And if the general fund is the problem, why is the solution another short-term loan? Is that solving the underlying financial problem, or is it buying more time while the county works through it? Huh? These are fair questions. The procurement policy has been in place since 2020. These aren't brand new responsibilities, so what changed? Let's keep watching.
As we move forward through the budget process, it seems like we would be able to have a bigger impact on our budget, on our budgetary issues with the general fund, as the SPLOST and the SPLOST should be thought about separately. So that's one point. Additionally, and I am a little torn on this issue, but there is something that I think we all have to consider here, and it's just that the future of this community, the future of Baldwin County, we have to be thinking about what we're going to be doing 20 years from now. But I can't imagine us not having a good platform like Sibley Smith. Today, it may not feel good.
I disagree with you about the SPLOST, because I don't want to say we're broke, but our SPLOST fund is in trouble. Until I start seeing the numbers trending up and not being a negative balance of our SPLOST fund, we're going to have to be cautious as a board, and we're getting ready to start our budgetary budgets. But I have very good confidence in this board and the mechanisms we have in place that we're going to very soon start seeing our SPLOST fund getting not being depleted. Encumbrances are killing our SPLOST fund. While I'm not able to get projects did in my community, if our SPLOST fund is okay. There is a problem. It's no reason not to admit it, but it's not a problem that's going to bankrupt this county. It's a problem that we're going to work through, and we're going to start building them funds up once we get a control of the encumbrances and get all of them paid and continue. Of course, we want business to be here. They've been here all my life already, but we got a problem. Ain't no use of not admitting it and saying that until we start seeing our funds get surpluses in it. We got to be very cautious.
All right, y'all just heard three completely different perspectives. One commissioner questioned committing money the county doesn't have. Another one said we've got to think 20 years into the future. Then the chair says the county is in trouble and we've got to be very cautious. And by this point, Commissioner Sammy Hall has already placed a motion on the floor. The discussion is over. Let's get to the vote.
Anybody else have any question? I entertain a motion.
I made the motion already, you
Okay,
seconded it.
okay. So if nobody have any more discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
I didn't hear you, Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-1 vote.
And just like that, the motion passes. Commissioner Scott Little cast the only vote against the measure. Now watch how quickly the meeting moves on.
Item B, the Aquatic Park Standard Operation Procedure, resolution to adopt a standard operating procedure for the Baldwin County Aquatic Center. Entertain the motion.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Pass unanimous vote.
They sure got their ducks in a row on that one, didn't we? Unanimously, no debate, no hesitation. Let's keep going.
Next item would be the adjustment of the dollar amount of the procurement for the county manager. Thank you.
All right.
I'll let you read it.
Mr. Chairman, we have a resolution here to amend the Baldwin County procurement policies and procedures. We reduced the amount of expenditure from $100,000 to $5,000, but we never made it official as part of our policy. And what we have here is just an amendment to make that official. We've been operating on that procedure. I mean, you can't buy a pencil without a purchase order in Baldwin County today.
Now he's talking about today. So you can't buy a pencil without a purchase order today in Baldwin County. What was it like yesterday? What was it like last year? What was it like 2 years ago? Let's keep going.
But we did not make it official, so that's what we're requesting, that we make it official today.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Make it official.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Let me add this. We will be bringing to you some changes to our purchasing policy. We've Dana has been working on that along with Audrey, and Brandon has it, and he is tuning it up. And just for your information, Dana and them have done some really good work in that, you know, we have a purchasing policy and you have to have a PO, and they've actually made some online purchase order so that where I'm trying to go from here. The requisition and purchase order, instead of them having to come to the office to get paper and fill out that, you can actually fill it out on your phone and get it. It's much more efficient. We can handle it much quicker. So they've been real good in developing that.
Now hold on. Remember, I got these same questions again. Now listen to what I'm saying. They're talking about improvements to a purchasing policy. They're talking about making things more efficient. They're talking about technology. Those are all good things, but let me ask a few questions. Who was responsible for administering these purchasing procedures before? Whose job was it to make sure the purchase orders were being issued? Whose job was it to make sure procurement policies were being followed? Because the procurement policy wasn't adopted yesterday. It was adopted September 15, 2020. So these policies are not new. These are not new responsibilities. If the improvements are happening today, what was happening before? And did a forensic audit become the catalyst for these changes? Now, these are fair questions. Let's keep watching.
I have two things I want to talk about. The transit, where, can you give us an update on that? Where we at with that?
I don't have any additional information. We've reached out to the auditing firm, but matter of fact, the auditing firm said they were reaching out to somebody else to get advice. I mean, I don't think to be honest with you, I don't think they really know what to do at this point, but we still don't have the audit, so I don't have any other additional information for you.
When I challenge the board, we definitely probably need to have a call. Well, we need to have a call meeting because if we can't get that audit and we can't get the grant to do this, we got to have some serious conversations around the board about that transit. And what would be the outcome of it come July the 1st? Is the transit going to be shut down or will it still be running? So we need to come up with something real quick on this.
That would be a question we'd have to answer. My understanding is that if we don't get it, we don't have an agreement by July the 1st, an audit by July the 1st, we're not eligible for the grant. So without the grant, you can't run it unless we fund it ourselves. I don't know what other funds we got, you know, that we could keep it maybe temporarily, but at some point, you know, rubber's gotta meet the road, we gotta make a
Right.
decision and
Well,
do something,
Well,
one way
we
or
need
the
to
other.
know monthly what it costs to run that, then
I
we can see
believe-
that and see what we need to do.
Don't quote me on this, but I believe it was $37,000 a month. Did that sound right?
37.
$222,000 for the remainder of the year, I believe.
Divided by, okay.
Now let's stop right there. They're talking about approximately $37,000 a month to keep the Baldwin County Transit operating. Now let me ask one final question. How does a county that collects millions of dollars every year through property taxes, SPLOST, T-SPLOST, grants, fees, and other public revenue reach a point where $37,000 a month becomes a major financial decision? How did we get here? Is today's financial position connected to the financial issues identified in the forensic audit? If so, what changed? What has changed? Because when government reaches a point where they're debating whether it can afford essential public services for merely $37,000 a month, then people who ultimately carry the burden are the taxpayers. These are fair questions, but I'll let you guys decide. Oh, one more thing. Maybe this is the solution.
I mean, one of the things that you might want to consider would be to raising the rate to some extent.
Right.
I don't know.